would you still consider America a dynamic modern economy in the world you've painted?
We can't think that we will ever be able to manage dynamism, measure dynamism in a very reliable way. But a first cut would be to look at, would be to estimate that part of annual productivity growth that looks like it's mostly explained by innovation. And you had a tremendous drop in the productivity growth not explained by the growth of capital and labor around 1973. It was just falling off a cliff. That rate of growth I'm talking about went from about 2% per annum for the longest time, and then it just dropped rather suddenly to 1% per annum. I guess I would consider it half a dynamic economy.
Why do you think it's only half a dynamic or a halfway dynamic economy?
There has been a decline in the pioneering spirit. I just don't think young people are growing up thinking that I think I'll go to Shanghai for a few years and see what's there that I can get involved in. Or I think I'll go out west. So I think now young people are not being encouraged to jump off the pier and become and try their hands at innovation or joining forces with other people and planting their flag with some other people who are innovators. I think they're not being encouraged to do that. I think they're being encouraged to stick close to the family, stick close to the community. There are pressures on them to stay close to the family, stay close to the community. So I think that's a serious thing. A century or two ago, I think young people, a lot of young people were interested in creating things, building things. And now it seems like my students never talk about those things, never show any interest in those things. What they do seem to want to do is to go to Wall Street and hold down a high salary and find their deeper satisfactions, if they've thought about it at all, elsewhere. But another thing I argue is that, and this is perhaps tied up with the money culture, I think that CEOs have become very short-termist. And I think the financial sector is very short-termist. There's such a preoccupation with liquidity and such an unwillingness to invest beyond the horizon of the next quarter and making sure that the CEOs hit their quarterly earnings. I think that there really should be a complete overhaul of corporate governance. In the old days, this was not a problem because even if there were a lot of share owners whose holdings were too small to have any influence, there was a big shareholder who had decisive stakes, and that was generally the founder of the company. So he was an innovative guy by his nature to begin with. Now we don't have that. We have a lot of CEOs who did not create those companies.